Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to share how I make the main ingredient to Papercrete, which is paper pulp. The process is pretty simple, but I want to pass along some of the tips and tricks that I use. So first, you'll need 2 buckets. I am using kitty litter buckets here because I'm all about using what you have on hand and recycling, but you could use any type of bucket. One is going to be for soaking the paper, and the other will be for draining. So step 1 and step 2. I find the easiest way to add drainage holes is to use a drill, but you can also use a soldering iron to poke the holes in the bottom. You don't want to add too many drainage holes because the paper pulp will dry out too much. You want the pulp to retain some water. So as you can see here, I only drilled 6 holes total in the bottom of my bucket. After you get your buckets ready, it's time to soak your paper. Shredded paper is really easy to work with and soaks the water up super fast, which means that it's ready to use faster. But it's not necessary. I've put a whole stack of newspaper straight into the bucket before, left it to soak for a few days, and it worked just fine. With using shredded paper, you only need to let it soak for a few hours and then it's ready to be pulped. If you don't have a paper shredder at home, you can put the word out to friends and family. I actually have someone who gives me the shredded paper from their office. The only drawback to this is that sometimes I will find plastic bits in the paper, but it's not such a big deal to me. I just take those bits out when I see them. They're from the little plastic window from envelopes, and that's one thing that you want to make sure you don't put in there. I personally try to steer clear from any type of plastic or anything too slick. So once you have all your paper in your bucket, you're going to want to go ahead and fill it with water. I went ahead and let my mixture soak for about 4 hours and it was ready to be pulped. So to pulp the mixture, what you need is a paint mixer attachment and a drill. So once you have the mixer attached to your drill, it's time to mix the paper. A tip that I learned the hard way is to start slow. If you go in full force, you'll end up splattering the paper everywhere and making a mess. So go slow and steady, and if you find that your paper is really hard to mix, try adding a little bit more water. It's similar to mixing a smoothie, so if it's too thick, it'll be harder to blend. You also may have to soak the paper for a little bit longer if needed. But don't worry about over mixing it. You really can't over mix this stuff. I try to go for a watery oatmeal consistency. Now it's time for the step 2 bucket. Simply pour the paper pulp into the bucket with holes in it. As you can see, it will start to drain the excess water. About 24 hours later, the paper pulp should look something like this. What I look for is that the paper pulp is not dripping when I take out a handful, but the water comes out when I squeeze it. To me, this is the perfect consistency. You may learn that you like a more wet consistency or more dry consistency when working with it, but you really have to test it out and see how you like to work with it and what works best for you. But let me know in the comments below if you have any other tips and tricks you would like to share. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of my videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.